Morning guys, you've probably heard quite a lot recently about the new minimum energy efficiency standards, and I wanted to answer the question, should you be concerned? Unfortunately, the answer to that is yes, and here's why. So the current minimum energy efficiency standards, which came into force in April 2020, are that if you have an F or a G rated property, you can no longer let that property onto the market unless you have an exemption from the local authority. And the way you achieve that exemption is if it would cost more than £3,500 to upgrade your F or G rated property to an EPC E, then you can still let that property onto the market, which I think is a fair compromise. Now, there were plans in place to increase the minimum energy efficiency standard from E to C in 2025, and that is a massive jump. So research from Savills found that a typical property would cost £17,000 on average to upgrade from an E to a C, which is just not economical. But thankfully, this legislation has been pushed back to 2028 to give everybody time to pause and the government time to put policies in place to support the legislation, which is good news, right? But the thing that most concerned me is the new proposed cost cap is £10,000, which is just simply uneconomical. That's probably 5 years profit on a typical buy-to-let in the current market, which the obvious logical conclusion is there's just going to be a fire sale of properties, right? So what can you do? Well, I can think of two things. If you're going to do any kind of refurbishment at the end of a tenancy, try and upgrade your property to an EPC C by looking at the measures on your EPC list and implementing the cheapest ones, which are things like LED lights, cost pennies, draft proofing is also very cheap, and there are other cheap measures to help get you to that next level. The other thing is contact the NRLA and try and support them, and also reach out to your local MP, because I think there's enough landlords out there that, have influence that, we could get this cost cap changed, but it's not going to happen if left to its own devices. So definitely something to be concerned about, and best of luck, guys. Cheers.